we are again. The frame's getting a lot closer to being to a point where I want it to be at. As you'll see in this video, I've got the bed perimeter all completely welded on where I want it. That was kind of a struggle because what I've figured out with the bed is that the two bed sides, the bed was never made correctly. Actually, one side is further forward than the other. That took a lot of measuring and figuring that out because the top of the bed is actually square. The bottom part where it bolts onto the original wood, so I call it like a bed channel. The bed channels were actually put on incorrectly. The bed pockets that come up on the side of the bed are in a different spot to the bead line on the side of the bed. And so it took a lot of measuring and figuring things out to figure out exactly what was wrong with that bed. But I finally got it to a point where I got the bed squared up. Everything's square on the frame. Everything looks good. I thought maybe I welded something on wrong when I started fitting the bed. And finally got the bed fit. We put the rear fenders back on or mocked them up to the running boards to make sure everything was going to fit together and look good. Slid the rear end underneath it and made sure that we're going to be able to put it in a spot that it looks good to the wheel openings on the rear fenders. And honestly, I'm getting kind of burnt out on working on this frame. So today I'm going to change gears. I'm going to go a completely different direction and work on this motor. I'll take you over here real quick and kind of give you a little view on what's going to go on. On the way over to the motor, which is over there, I'm going to show you guys. This is what I was talking about. This is that bed bead that I was talking about, and this measurement on each side is different. But when you take these top rails and you cross this, you measure that, like you would square anything else. That measurement, this comes out square. Obviously, this top bed panel, which is on the front, which is what butts up to the back of the cab, is going to need a lot of straightening out to make it fit and have the correct distance between. But so this is what took a lot of figuring out was these top rails. These top rails are square. But what I figured out is this channel here, which is from this rivet, this entire piece here, comes over here, comes down here, and comes over here. These were put on incorrectly. They got them off. This one is further forward than that one. And that was a big pain in the butt to figure out. But once I figured it out, then what we did was we bolted this side on, grabbed a hold of this side and this hole that somebody had butched in. I assume they were probably going to do some sort of a gas tank filler or something, and I might use that. We'll see. But I bolted it on that side, and I grabbed a hold of it with a come-along up here. You'll see all this. But we pulled the bed forward and took measurements, and then I drilled a hole over here and bolted it down. But this would have been originally the wood that the bed would have bolted to. I made it out of steel, and I welded it all on so that it can't be changed. You've seen in the other video where I had started to cut the original rear cross member out and put this one in. And if you're wondering why that happens, is because the original one went straight across. It had a little bit of a hump to it. But this new one comes back. It sets it back. That gives you room for your center section to sit there, and then you've got your suspension travel so that your center section doesn't end up coming up and hitting that rear cross member. But anyways, let's get over here to this motor. I want to show you guys what we're going to be working on today. So this is that 350 combo that I was talking about, and I was lied to. It's not a 350. I decoded the numbers on the back of the block here, which any of you guys that know GM stuff would probably just know it by heart. But this is it's stamped. It's kind of hard to read, but it's GM 5.0 LG. So it's not a 350. It's actually a 305, which is fine. It's going to be more than plenty for what we're going to do with this little hot rod. Doesn't need to be fast. Doesn't need to smoke everybody. Just needs to sound good, run good, be reliable, and do a burnout or two here and there. But today what we want to do is we're going to tear into it. I got a few goodies here. Let's check these out. I picked this up, or I should say my dad picked this one up for us off of eBay, but it's a Team G intake from Wyand. And I mean, look at this thing. Look how tall that is. That's going to look so cool. Pop the hood, make that motor look a little bit bigger, a little bit more hot rod. You got a full timing set for it. We picked up a comp cam 280H. I'm not scared to tell you what it is. Everyone's probably going to ask once you hear it, because they sound good. But it's just an off-the-shelf cam that sounds good in a 305 or 350. We may end up doing a few other things. We'll see. I don't want any surprises in this motor. You know how it goes. You start tearing into something, you end up finding a bent push rod. You got to dig a little deeper. Something else surprises you. You end up doing a complete rebuild, and that's not the goal for this project. So let's cross our fingers and hope that this 305 is in pretty good shape.